Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining me. What a pleasure it is to have you on the show, Leigh. How's the tour been going?
It's been going great. We've had a great time, been getting great audiences. We've been previewing up until it came out, and now our single named If This Is Goodbye is number 16 on the AC charts. And I just found out that the album is number 5.
I want to talk to you about all that new music. You guys just have been on fire for such a long time. You can't put a foot wrong.
You know what? We have been on the road every year for 55 years, including the year that everyone was off for the pandemic.
How did you manage that?
We worked early in February in 2020. Our last show was in Las Vegas. And then as we were about to travel to California to continue the tour, the world shut down and didn't open up again for 15 months. So that was still a year later at the end of 2021.
Right.
So we still worked every year.
You snuck it in.
Snuck it in. Yeah.
That's awesome. 55 years. Aren't you sick of it yet?
I love playing. I love playing the trumpet. I love practicing the trumpet, and I love playing for people. And as a band, we all enjoy the same thing, playing for live audiences.
And live audiences can't get enough of you. They can't get enough of you on stage. They can't get enough of you on record either. Your love of playing the trumpet started at such an early age, didn't it?
Well, 11, if that's really early. I guess that's pretty early. And yeah, my dad asked me if I wanted to play an instrument. And at the time, I think he was just wanting me to be more of a well-rounded human being, so put a little music in there. When I told him I wanted to be a professional musician, he started trying to talk me out of it and told me that he didn't think that there was any future in that. So 55 years is doing pretty good. And before he passed, he understood that we were pretty well established and didn't seem to be going anywhere.
So did it make you a more well-rounded human being? Was he right?
I don't know. You have to ask my ex-wives. I'm not sure they would agree.
No, if they're ex-wives, they probably wouldn't.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. My kids are on my side, though.
Yeah, well, they didn't have. Well, I suppose they did have to put up with you being away on the road all the time too, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Did they handle it better than the wives did?
I think maybe as they were growing up and I was gone, not so much because they were there with mom. But as they saw the documentary, the 50-year anniversary documentary, they started understanding what it is that I've been doing all my life. And they had more compassion for me, I think, after that. And because they see that if you really enjoy doing something, you have to make sacrifices in order to pull it off, for you to be happy, and hopefully everyone else can be happy as well. Because I would try to bring them out on the road with me. They came out when they were young, until they decided that they were too big to come out with me and wanted to hang around with their friends. Then we were separated a lot more often.
Right. So it doesn't matter what the profession is. There comes a time when the kids don't want to be with their parents no matter what.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. That's amazing. You started with the band in 1967, and it was really special from the outset, wasn't it?
It was. The most special thing was that we enjoyed playing music together, all of us, and that it remained together. Everyone had feelings toward music, that we wanted to move further with it. We didn't want to rest on our laurels, and back then we didn't have lots of laurels.
Not too many to stand on.
Yeah, we were playing clubs and stuff. So when we had a chance to record our first album, which became Chicago Authority, we were still all of the same mindset that this is the only thing we want to do, and we were moving straight ahead no matter what.
I guess it does help to have like-minded souls with you, and everybody is ambitious as the next.
And it's very difficult to find that many people to be that like-minded.
That very first album that you had, Chicago Transit Authority, it was huge, and every album of yours has been huge. But that was the one that really broke through for you, with, of course, Peter Cetera on vocals and bass.
There's a couple of things about that that I want to bring to your attention, and that is that 55 years later, 3 of the original 6 members, that was before Cetera joined the band, we only had 6 guys when we started playing the clubs. We're still playing now every night.
Amazing.
Myself, Jimmy Pankow, and Robert Lamb. So to understand that half the band is still with us 55 years later, I have to pinch myself to when I remember that.
You've had lots of incarnations across time, obviously, over 55 years, and you've lost members of the band too.
All of the changes that we have made through the years have only helped the band get better at a point where it needed it and needed a little boost forward. And all of these guys come in with their history of listening to our music as they were growing up. And then they're able to add their personality to those songs.
You were responsible for bringing the brass section into the band. And of course, brass makes such a huge difference to a band. You were hailed as being one of the most important bands in music since the dawn of the rock and roll era. And in part, that's because you brought brass into it.
Yeah. Well, the brass became more of an integral part of the songs with us. Whereas everyone else were using the brass as more of accent parts and percussive type parts, but we were bringing it in as a melodic instrument, I guess, and it was as important as the vocals. And we would weave the brass in and out between vocals. The vocals would sing some, and we'd play some lines behind it, and then we'd get our own time to come out and shine. So in that way, yes, I guess we changed a few things. We had a different way of looking at music.
Was that your doing?
Jimmy Pankow started writing the brass. I have written some through the years, and I have one brass arrangement on the new album, If This Isn't Love. Also, that is the only song on the album that was actually recorded by the band as a rhythm section. When I said we had our time when we got back on the road in 2021, we came early to the show one day, and I handed out the charts for If This Isn't Love, and the band played through it a few times. And then we had a basic track for the song, took it back to my studio in Arizona and did the overdubs and sent the song to Canada for Neil Donnell to sing it. So he sent that back, and we had a lead vocal, and then we recorded the brass at my studio and sent everything to Joe Thomas, the producer, and he mixed it all together.
And it's turned out magic.
It has turned out very nice, very nice.